Heyo everybody, Haku here with my thoughts and discussion of the newest Pokemon Sun and Moon trailer that we just got with the 3 mid-stage starter evolutions. Now for this video, when I talk about the 3 mid-stage starter evolutions, I will be also talking about the leaked final evolutions that I'm assuming are correct at this point. Like, all signs point to them being correct. So I'm going to be talking about them. If you don't care, that's cool, stick around. But I just wanted to warn you, if you did care about that, if you didn't want to be spoiled, if you wanted to wait and try to avoid all of the images and just wait and see it when it comes out in a trailer, I just wanted to give you that fair warning that we will be talking about it and I will be putting pictures in of them. So I didn't want to be the one to spoil you guys. So I would say just click away now if you don't want to see that, but I'm assuming that most of you have already seen it, and most of you are already on the same page of, yeah, they're probably correct. All signs point to them being correct, because there's no way that some random dude would have been able to guess Mallow before she was even announced, and she is in the Litten Final Evolution concept art. And just because the concept art is real doesn't necessarily mean this is what our final evolutions will look like. It's just what they'll probably look like. There's definitely going to be some differences, because we don't know, this was months ago, if maybe they have tweaked things and changed things since then, and maybe even made them look completely different. But I highly doubt that. I think that what we see in those concept art images are about what we're going to get. But enough about that. Before I get into the starters and mid-stage evolutions, since that's the most exciting part for me, I want to go from the least exciting to most exciting parts for me and just discuss them part by part. And the least exciting part for me by far is we're going to have Mega Evolution back. But even though we're having Mega Evolution back, it is not going to be in competitive. There's going to be no competitive Mega Evolution for this season, I believe. So yeah, I don't even know the point of bringing it back then, because I saw so many people so excited that Megas were going to be back, and I don't get why. Like, of course, there were many people that liked Megas. There were many as well, like me, that thought Megas were a bit of a gimmick. They didn't really like them, and I'm still on that page of I don't really like Megas. I think that they work as a Gen 6 thing, but I'm not sure why we're bringing them over into Gen 7, especially if we're not adding any new ones. If we were continually adding new ones, it would make sense, but if we're not going to allow it in competitive and we're not going to add any new ones, why even have them? But yeah, so that's my thought on the Mega Evolutions coming back. That's the only thing for me that I've been like, it's cool and all, I just don't really care that much, and I don't really get it if they're not going to be in competitive, if they're not going to be any new ones. Why are we just bringing the old ones back? Why not just say that was a Gen 6 idea and we're thinking of something different, like the Alolan forms for Gen 7 and the Z moves for Gen 7, and we're just doing something different this generation. I think we would have been maybe better off to do that. Next up, the demo is out soon, October 18th, very soon actually, like less than 2 weeks. So yeah, that's going to be interesting, and in the demo you're going to be able to play through with ash-greninja and then transfer ash-greninja over into your full game. So that, again, really interesting, and I'm actually pretty excited about that. I don't really feel like I'll be using ash-greninja that often, or possibly even at all, but it's just interesting. It's cool to have or whatever. So yeah, and a lot of people I've seen pointing out, why are we bonding with Ash's Greninja? Is Ash going to be in the game? Why is it even Ash Greninja? No, I don't believe Ash is going to be in the game whatsoever. I think that they're just throwing Ash's Greninja in because of the popularity in the anime and everything, and they're just capitalizing on that by giving fans a little something extra that's just a neat little extra thing thrown in there that they might like. I don't think it's anything super significant like putting anime characters into the game, no. But yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. Next up is Festival Plaza, and it kind of reminds me, and I've seen a lot of other people saying this too, of, was it called Join Avenue in Black 2 White 2? I think it's Join Avenue that it's kind of reminiscent of, but you're going to be able to meet up and communicate with other players, it seems, and do mini games and stuff like that to earn coins, and then use those coins to spend on, say, use it to spend on the customization stuff, because we saw way back in the trailer when we were introduced to customization that it was, I believe it was the festival coins were what they were using to pay for the customization. So that's going to be one thing it's used for, but we also saw items like stat boost items or events like the Pikachu and the Funhouse event that also affect stats and stuff like that. So I'm assuming you can also buy items with the festival coins, but I would probably save them up and use them more for the customization, just because that seems a bit more fun to me. Next up is Pokepelago, which I think is an amazing idea. I think it's a brilliant idea, and you can send the Pokemon from your PC boxes to one of 3 islands, and I have the islands written down because there's no way I was remembering the names. Island of Beans, I think. And you can attract wild Pokemon to come join your game when your Pokemon are there. Isle Afun, where your Pokemon can go and actually look for items on the island. And Isle Evelop, where they can gain experience and level up while on the island, like a new sort of daycare system. And I think that this is just a really good idea, because it takes things that we've had for years and years, generations really, and like the PC box and the daycare system, and it tweaks them, it changes them, and it really, really improves them. And I really love the idea of just a new and improved PC and daycare system sort of, system. So I really, really like those ideas a lot. And now I'll go ahead and get into talking about the mid-stage, and I'll talk about the final stage as well, what we know of them from the leaks, the mid and final stage evolutions for our starters. Now here on the screen, first up we have our mid and final stage evolutions for the grass type starter, Grass and Flying Rowlet. And this is, or at least the supposed final evolution, and I think that it's also really interesting that this generation, Gen 7, is the first time in 3 generations where I like all 3 starters. I love all 3, and I'm like, I need to play through with all 3 starters, because the first 4 generations I was like, I need to play through with all 3 starters. I like all 3 starters. Then Gen 5 I was like, I only like Snivy. I'm sorry if you guys are fans, but I was like, I don't like Tepig or Oshawott. I don't really feel the need to play through with them. And then even in Gen 6 I was like, okay, I need to play through with Froakie and Fennekin, but I was like, I can play X with Froakie, Y with Fennekin or something. And then I'm like, and I don't really care about Chespin. But this is one of those, again, where I need to get both copies, set up some sort of trading between the 2 to get all 3. But I was like, I need to play through at least once with each of the starters, because they're all 3 so freaking cool. I love this. And even, I think Rowlet wasn't my least favorite of the 3. I think Litten was my least favorite of the 3 beginning stages. And even then, I really love Litten. And I would say that Dartrix is my least favorite of the 3 middle stages, but he's still so cool looking. I freaking love him. He has these little bladed feathers that he throws with his wings like throwing knives, which I think is a really awesome concept and design. And I don't know, I love that. They said it's snobby and it really cares about its appearance. And I mean, you could tell from that, and even in the live reaction, I was like, oh, this looks like a one of the little trust fund, what would you call it? Trust fund country club kids or something. So I thought that was interesting, and yeah, even if it's my least favorite of the 3, I really do love this one, and we have no names for any of these supposed final evolutions, but I really think it looks awesome, and honestly, this is possibly my favorite design for the final evolutions. I just love how they turned it from throwing knives into arrows to be an archer and stuff, and it's just really interesting to me. I love the hood of leaves, and it really does fit, because I think, and of course I think it's real, because who would have guessed that Rowlet would have evolved into throwing knives and then evolved into an archer? It seems like that's sort of a natural progression, and I don't think, too, this leaked months ago, the pattern on the backs of its wings and the orange feathers used as the arrow / throwing knives, I don't think that just a random person would have guessed that. So I think it seems very, very real to me, and I'm hoping it's real so much, because I love the way it looks. I think it looks amazing. And I think that is, yeah, I just need this. I think that's it for this starter, and next up we'll talk about Litten and its evolutions. Next up we have Litten's middle stage and final stage evolution, and its middle stage evolution is Torracat, and I freaking love Torracat. I think, again, it is possibly, it's close to being my favorite mid-stage evolution, but not quite beating out Popplio's evolution. But I love the way it has such a powerful stance when we see it in the gameplay and stuff, and the way it moves and stuff. It's so cool. It almost kind of reminds me of young Simba from The Lion King, and I love The Lion King, so I love this design so much. The bell on its neck is actually a flame sack organ that it produces its fire from, and I think it's so freaking cool, and it rings like a bell. I mean, I love this design. It's sort of bulking up from what Litten was, sort of leading into that final stage evolution, and also it, I don't know, I really, really like it. I kind of would have preferred for the final stage for it to stay on all fours, but I really love the way the final stage looks as well. Also, the description says that Torracat and its mane, it can use its mane to sense enemies in the dark, which I think is a really interesting thing to throw in there. And then we see the final evolution. It is great looking. Looks a bit like Tony the Tiger, but I don't know. I freaking love it. I don't even mind. It looks like it could be a firefighting, but I wouldn't even mind. Because the thing with me is, when Blaziken showed up with firefighting, it was new and it was really cool. Then we had Infernape, and I'm like, okay, 2 firefighting in a row. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but Infernape still has a pretty cool design. And then Emboar showed up, and it's like, why even? Emboar's design is kind of lame, and it's the 3rd firefighting in a row. So even if this is firefighting, and I'm a little bit sick of the type, I think the design is cool enough that I would use it anyway. It looks really awesome, and I don't think it's going to be firefighting personally. There are a lot of people guessing Fire Dark, and I'm in that camp too. I think it's going to be Fire Dark and be based on sort of a heel, a bad guy pro wrestler, because we see that it looks like it's spitting out this green stuff in the concept art, and I'm pretty sure which pro wrestler did that? That wasn't Mr. Fuji, was it? I think it may have been Mr. Fuji that played dirty and used cheap tricks and stuff, and I think that's going to be the type of Fire Dark type wrestler it is. And we also see that it continues to bulk up and have the powerful forelegs and stuff, making it into powerful arms, and the flame organ on its neck becomes its belt. And again, this is one of those that this came out months ago, so I don't think that some random dude would have been able to guess, so I'm thinking it's 100% real, and I really, really like this one, so I don't even mind if it's firefighting just because it's so friggin' cool. And last up, we have Brionne, my favorite of the mid-stage starter evolutions, and Brionne evolves from Popplio. It's got a sort of feminine look, but I think it's just freaking adorable. I completely love it. It's a hard worker, it's a dancer, and it's the pop star Pokemon. I just love it. Its design is so freaking cute. I love its face, just its mouth and eyes. It's just the cutest freaking thing, and the little pigtail ear things. I really, really love this design, and I'm happy that Popplio got a good evolution, because of course I've been Team Popplio from the beginning pretty much. But even though I've been Team Popplio from the beginning, I feel I don't know. I feel like if it would have gotten a bad evolution, I would have had to ditch Team Popplio and run over to Team Litten or something, or Team Rowlet. But I don't know. I'm just really, really happy with this evolution. I've seen pretty much nobody I've heard people saying, everyone's complaining that it's feminine. I have heard nobody complaining. In fact, I've heard most people saying that they loved this design and they loved the feminine turn they took with Popplio. And I love that as well, because I think, what else would they have really done with Popplio to make it look decent? It was either this or just this goofy, wonky looking clown. So I'm really happy that it's going to turn out like this, I would hope. I really hope they don't do much else to that design they have in the concept art for the final evolution, because I really love it. And again, it seems like a natural progression, and it seems like something somebody wouldn't have guessed. So again, I'm thinking 100% confirmed it's real. And I really, really like it. So I'm definitely going to have this as my first choice for a starter. And the thing is, I've never used a water type as my first choice for a starter. Gen 1, Bulbasaur is my first choice always. Gen 2, Cyndaquil for sure. Gen 3, Trico for sure. Gen 4, Turtwig, even though I don't really like any of the Gen 4 starters that much, I'd prefer to just catch Shinx at the beginning and then put my starter in the PC and use Shinx as my starter. Gen 5, Snivy's my best, like my favorite by far. I don't even like any of the other two Gen 5 starters. And Gen 6, Fennekin's my favorite, but Froakie is awesome too. And this, even though I love all three starters a lot, Popplio 100% my favorite. And if this is what our evolutionary line is looking like, I'm totally happy with that. As for typings, it's just a pure water type for now, but I'm actually kind of hoping for a bit of water fairy myself. And yeah, I really like it. And the feminine look, wait, we're gonna have some artwork of that. But either way, I like it. And I really love Rowlet's final evolution. I like Litten's final evolution too, but I almost like Torracat more. Torracat looks freaking awesome. And I just love Popplio's entire evolutionary line. So either way, this one's probably kind of a long one, but I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on these three starters and their evolutionary lines now that we sort of have what seems to be a look at the entire evolutionary line. And I think that, like I've been saying for months and months and months, the designs for Gen 7 look amazing. So totally happy with all this. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to leave these images up here because I'm too lazy to remove them for the end. So, like, if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of my thoughts on all this, and tell me what you think of all three of these starters and on the new features in the game, because I'm really loving the Pokepelago feature, or system, or whatever. Subscribe for more Pokemon and a lot more. There's going to be a lot going on the channel, so stop up and check it out if you want. And follow on Twitter if you want as well, because I'll try to keep you updated on there on stuff for the channel. And that's it. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.